3 men, James Duckett, Thomas Marshall, and Donald MacArthur. 1 remote island, and a lighthouse keeping a secret. December 1900. High on a desolate rock off the coast of Scotland, 3 experienced keepers vanish without a trace. Their lamps were filled. Their last meal was set. Yet the men were gone. No bodies. No struggle. Just a single, ominous journal entry and the chilling silence of a deserted stone tower. What force of nature or act of desperation was powerful enough to wipe these 3 souls from the face of the earth? This is the unsolved mystery of the Flannan Isles. Get ready, because the truth is lost at sea.
Thomas.
Thomas Marshall. You're a very, very, very clever man to get your voice through. Your Scottish voice. Is that right? Are you Scottish, Thomas? I hope you can understand my accent. I'm Dolly. I'm from Australia. And this is Kayla.
Hello.
Hello. Pleased to meet you. Thank you so much for coming in and speaking with us. Thomas, you were the assistant keeper on the Flannan Isles Lighthouse. Goodness me, that sounded like a tough place to be, a lighthouse on a remote Scottish island.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. Thomas, am I allowed to ask what happened, my darling? Because you vanished, and no doubt your family would like to know the truth. I guess they're probably with you in spirit anyway now, is that right? Thomas, you were with James and Donald.
James.
And James. Hello, James. You were the principal keeper. You were 43 years old. Thomas, 28. And Donald was in his 40s. Gentlemen, they found an empty lighthouse with just a chair.
Pardon?
Yeah, they just found an empty lighthouse with just a chair fallen on the ground, and there was no sign of you 3 gentlemen.
Drinks.
Yeah, you were having a drink. Are you able to get your voice through with Kayla? So I can't see the visuals, darling. So if you can get your voice through, whoever's the strongest, we get it through the radio and I can hear you.
Appreciated.
Very much appreciated that you've come in here today to speak. Thank you so much. Would you like to tell me what happened on that night? It was in December 15, 1900. Drinks. Were you having drinks together? Were you guys all getting on?
James here.
Hello, James. Hello, James Ducat, the principal keeper, 43. I'd like to hear your story, sir, if that's okay, because the whole world is completely still fascinated by this mystery of 3 lighthouse men, very experienced men, that went missing.
True.
You just vanished. Yeah, true. Everyone still wants to know what happened to you guys. It's a mystery.
Missing.
You are. You went missing.
The boys at night.
The boys at night. How did you go missing?
Surviving.
I mean, the gate and the main door were closed. The clock inside had stopped. A chair was overturned. 2 sets of oilskins were missing, but one was still hanging on the wall.
Yep.
And the logbook ended on December the 15th. So were you having some drinks, and then what happened? Now, you can tell me anything, guys. I've heard many, many stories.
There was smoke.
Okay. Smoke. Where was the smoke?
So naturally, went out.
Right. Because you thought there was a fire.
We didn't.
So the 3 of you went out. The 3 of you went outside.
Made it special. Yep.
All right. Tell me what happened, gentlemen. You went outside and it would have been freezing. One of you wasn't wearing an oilskin though. So you must have been panicked. You must have seen something that was frightening. What happened? They saw smoke. I mean, they're on a lighthouse, on a cliff, a rocky island.
14.
On a rocky island, really dangerous part of the world where a lot of ships had sunk because of this particular...
Pulled. Wanted.
14 pulled, wanted.
No,
keep on going. I believe everything you tell me, Spirit.
if we tell you.
No, you can tell me anything. I've heard of a lot of horror stories where men have been taken by things that come out of the ocean. I've heard a lot of stories like this.
Truth?
Yep. The truth, the whole truth, please.
You might
No, I will not judge you. I have deep respect for you, gentlemen. I won't think anything, but I will believe you. Of course I'll believe you. The fact that you're here with me now, wow, what an honor.
There was smoke.
Yeah, okay. And what happened?
We didn't know.
Yeah, but sounds like they've got a really out of this world story that they think I won't believe. But of course, I've heard everything. Of course I will believe your story.
Must have.
Yeah? Did you say creature?
Available.
I thought they said creature. You said 14. What was their 14?
I thought.
What did you think, James? Keep speaking. Who's the strongest with their voice? Get your voice through.
Off the ship. People.
Yeah? Were they people? Or was it something else, spirit? Have you heard of the Mary Celeste spirit? I spoke to spirits from the Mary Celeste and they said they were attacked by something that came out of the...
Hiding.
Right. Something was
I
hiding.
was scared.
Yeah? Okay. I'm sorry to take you back through this terrifying moment of your...
It was.
Yeah. Okay. You were attacked, weren't you? What were you attacked by? Was it human?
It was like impacts
Impacts. Okay.
with others.
Right. That come out of the sea? Must have come out of the sea, yeah?
We hid
You hid? The three of you hid? Thomas, James and Donald?
in front of.
Yeah. I'm listening, spirit. There wasn't many places to hide. You were on this small lighthouse.
It sunk their boat
It sunk their boat. Ah.
in our peripheral.
Ah. Did you see a boat being sunk by these creatures? Were you trying to help another boat?
Right, I guess.
Okay, so did you see, tell me what you saw, darlings. I know it's hard to say, but when you went outside, you saw smoke and then you saw a boat being attacked, did you? And then you hid, trying to get away? This sounds
Yes,
certainly not
basically.
not of this world, yeah?
I couldn't hear anything.
Could you hear any humming or
Humming.
could you hear humming? Oh, there's some nasty beasts out there, that's for sure.
Norse
Norse? Okay.
code.
Norse code, yeah. Oh, the humming was a Norse code that they communicated with each other?
Yes.
Okay. This has happened to quite a few ships that I've spoken to, you know?
Really?
Yeah. You know the Mary Celeste? Mary Celeste was a ship before.
Jeez.
Yeah, they were taken as well. I spoke to the spirits and those things, they said,
For heaven's sake.
Yeah, they came out of the ocean and they took Captain Benjamin and his wife and the daughter and the crew. And they got onto the lifeboat, but then they drowned and some of them were taken down. I also spoke to some other people recently, only about 30 years ago, and same thing.
Who's doing it?
It's things that are coming out of the ocean, and it's just terrifying. Yeah, and they hum to each other. Is that right? That they communicate with it like a Norse code. They hum. So I believe you, is what I'm saying. This has happened to about 3 or 4 cases with people that have been on ships and then suddenly they go missing. Is that what happened to you, James, or Thomas, or Donald? You hid. And then what happened? Nothing else on this.
Must have.
Nothing else on this island. They were there by themselves.
We were close.
They never found your bodies. To this day, they've never found any of your clothing, any of your bodies. Where were you taken, spirits? Where were your bodies taken? This is from a lighthouse, so interesting that they saw smoke outside.
In.
Were you taken into the sea?
I
I know you're trying.
believe so.
Oh, well, your bodies were never found, yeah? I sounds like you would have passed out, yeah, from fright. Did they terrify you to death?
We made a mistake
How's that?
going out on them.
Or did they come inside to the kitchen and take you?
Close.
I mean, I just knew that this had beasties all over it, this case. Were you all outside when you were attacked? Were you all outside the lighthouse?
Yeah.
Okay. And Donald, you left your oilskin behind. What did you see? Is Donald here now? So it sounds like you...
Foolish.
Why were you foolish, gentlemen? Do you think you should have just... I mean, you hid, but then what happened?
We.
They were all in this together. They were fighting for their lives, clearly, or trying to get away from whatever was...
Should, even though we saw.
What did you see? Oh, they're saying that we shouldn't have even seen what they saw, but they did.
We should have
Well, you weren't to know that...
just
Well, you weren't to know, were you, spirits? You should have just stayed inside. I think that was the rule anyway, wasn't it? That you shouldn't have all gone out together.
Yes.
That was your lighthouse rule, that you shouldn't all go outside together. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. But what you saw was so catastrophic and terrifying that you had to go out. You had no choice. I mean, this was pretty amazing because you guys were very experienced in your jobs. And it wasn't like you were drunk and just...
We were like...
You're doing very well, Spirit, to get your voice through. Very well, all the way from Scotland.
Are those little things?
Things, bloody beasties.
People?
So they kind of look like people? Were they things that look like people? But they weren't people, were they? They weren't people. There's no way people could have come on.
Of course.
Yeah. There's no way people could have come onto the lighthouse, right? I mean...
We had.
Yeah. But you'd never seen anything
True.
like... Yeah. But you had to go out. You had to... I mean, I'm sure you couldn't believe what was happening, right? You had to go outside and...
For the others.
Oh, were you trying to help the others on the other boat that you saw? Oh, yeah, that was your job, was to save lives.
These monsters were not people.
No. I hear you loud and clear, Spirit. So the smoke that you saw, was that from the other boat that you saw being attacked? Or was that just their thing that they did?
Yes.
Ah, okay. So
On the boat.
Okay, so you saw the smoke on the boat and those monsters got dragged down the crew on that boat, and then they came to shore, to the lighthouse, and grabbed you. Is that what happened?
We thought they were people.
Yeah, okay. Ah, so you tried to help them. Well, you were very brave and honourable men. All you tried to do was save other people's lives right to the end. You should be proud of that, Spirit. You should be proud of what you did, because you died trying to help people, really. And you were ambushed, weren't you?
Oh, you did.
They were ambushed from something out of this world, from monsters from the deep.
Donald.
Hello, Donald. Well done, Donald. That's the third lighthouse. You guys are very good at saying your names. Well done. Thomas, James and Donald. Beautiful. Well done. So you should be proud, spirits, that you tried helping and you were ambushed. That wasn't your fault. You were just doing your job, really. So they tried to hide and then they were taken. God knows what these things were in the sea that took them. So James Ducart was the principal keeper. He was aged about 43. He had a wife and 4 children. Thomas Marshall was the second assistant keeper. He entered service. He was only young at the age of 27 and he was formerly a seaman. And Donald MacArthur, he was the occasional keeper filling in for the first assistant. Pulled. Yes, Donald. But you know there's an old Hebridean folklore that warns of the blue men of the Minch, sea spirits who lure sailors to their doom.
Pulled me under.
Pulled you under. Okay. This has happened to several spirits that I've spoken to, so I completely believe you, right? They pulled them off the boats. They pulled them off the Mary Celeste. They pulled them off 2 other boats that I spoke to spirits of. So maybe the old Hebridean folklore is correct. Are you gentlemen okay now? Are you at peace now? Are you all right, boys? Well, I knew this case had something very unnatural about it. And yeah. Are you okay? You're at a good place now? Yeah? You're with your family and your loved ones now, in spirit? Anyway, thank you for coming in, gentlemen, and speaking to me. And I'm sorry I took you through all the pain and the horror of that story again.
We're good.
You're good? That's good.
We're good.
Oh, great. I'm so glad. Is there anything you'd like to say before you go? I'd like to thank you for coming in and telling me your story, and I'll let people know exactly what happened to you.
Trust. This story has mistakes. We, patients, need explain.
Yeah? Keep on. You want to keep on explaining? I'm happy to listen.
We're nervous.
It's okay. No one's judging your spirit.
Not some game. It's not things to think about.
It's not things to think about. I don't think I'm going to be going into the sea too quickly again.
It's
or anywhere near it. Certainly not to a lighthouse.
Careful.
Be careful.
There's more.
There's more beasties. Sounds like it. There's a lot more other...
Couple more.
Oh. There's more to this story, which is basically there's a whole lot of other stuff out there that we don't know about. Is that right, spirits? What's your message to people listening that want to know about your story?
Well, stay.
Stay. Yeah. Well, stay. Yeah. Stay on land. Stay inside. Stay safe. Fading out a little bit. Been a Long session. Stay.
Virtually.
Yeah. Stay virtually. What, gentlemen? Final voice before you
Vigilant.
go. Stay vigilant. Aha. Okay. And that would be said by a lighthouse keeper, wouldn't it? Because that was very much their job, was to stay vigilant and keep that light shining bright. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for shining the light on your story and shining the light in your careers and keeping people safe. And, it's to be applauded for all your work. And thank you, gentlemen. I really appreciate you being here, chatting to myself and Kayla. All right. And thanks for coming all the way to Australia. Very brave men. I appreciate you telling me your story. Thank you, gentlemen.